We are former Mini Cooper owners, and currently we're driving the biggest of Minis. This is the all-new third generation 2025 MINI Countryman. What does it even mean to be a Mini these days? We will discuss.
Here's how much the Countryman costs.
The vibe in here is so stylish and fun. There's colorful stitching on the seats, this unusual treatment on the dash of fabric, which I think looks really nice, feels really nice, but I have serious concerns about long-term durability.
You're naturally kind of uncoordinated, so the odds of you spilling coffee hilariously like an infomercial on the dash are not zero. That same motif continues to the door, and then you get this weird transition. I wouldn't have ever thought to do that, but I was really pleased to see color in here.
Great door storage. We have a sauce pocket, a large bottle, and then a generous bin beside it. There's also this unusual bin right here, which looks like you should be able to remove it, but you can't.
I really like that you got this little like fabric pull. Then you also have a little bit of open storage here, and then you've got this section which feels like we should have more under console storage, but you don't. And then over here, a dedicated wireless phone charger, which is standard, and then beneath that, more storage. So a lot of functionality. Here in the center, you've got this vestigial start-stop key-like thing. It's immediately adjacent to the drive selector and then the controller for the experiences. We'll explain this more later. Standard leatherette seating, and I think they look really cool. I will complain about the headrest, which when I got in here based on seat angle, it was like, oh, it's kind of in my headspace, and I don't like feeling confined like that.
Otherwise, seat comfort is great.
One odd note, it is $1,000 if you want to have power seats in your Mini Cooper. That's if you get them as a standalone option. In our particular tester, we have the Iconic Trim, and they're sort of bundled in. Behind my ideal front seat position, there's so much room, and then we've got like a recline function, which is generous. Kiddo, talk about that middle position.
Okay. It's really like comfortable. There's a foot nook.
You don't have to put your feet on either side of the hump, and even I fit pretty well in there. Oh, and Kiddo, what is it like climbing in and out of the Mini Countryman?
Very easy because it's a very tiny car.
It's low, but it's not too low. I can sit in here without even using my hands.
Makes it sound like you're levitating, which is fun to picture.
You just gotta make a funny noise when I do it. Let's put it over B-roll. My only wish for the back seats is that the vents were aimable. But I do like that there are rear vents. And moving to cargo, Mini says there are 25 cubic feet of space back there. This third generation Countryman is larger, and that's one area where you're really gonna feel it.
I love the underfloor area. It's huge. The way it opens is very convenient, and it holds itself open.
A tire mobility kit comes standard, but if you want, you can spend $250 and get a spare tire to fill up some of that underfloor area. I really like that they've gone to a 40-20-40 split rear seat situation, so you can have long items going down the middle, and each of those splits has its own adjustable recline. Though note, if you want to flip those seats down, you will have to come around to the side because you got to release them with the little, little strappy dealies. I don't want to boggle your mind with too much technical language there. Is there a dumber way to say strappy dealies?
Strappy dealies.
What about the latch situation?
There are 3 top tethers as well as lower anchors on the outboard positions. Despite the name Mini, I do think there would be room for a rear-facing car seat.
As for safety, neither the NHTSA nor IIHS have rated the third generation Mini Countryman just yet. But it comes standard with a full suite of active driver assist technology plus 10 airbags, yes, 10 family. What do we think? Is the Mini Countryman family friendly?
Surprisingly, small family friendly.
Rear window test. And, oh, you're waving like a queen. Maybe 5. Boop. Armrest test. Whoa, that guy did not want to stop.
Why do girls always, and by girls, I mean this girl.
This lady.
Yeah, when you need somebody to shriek to let you know the guy in the Genesis is about to plow into you, Sweetie will be there. Armrest test, driving in a comfortable 8 and 4, easy access to the inboard and outboard armrest. And man, this one is really accessible because of that slide function. Strong squish factor inboard and outboard. I'm gonna go 90% inboard, 90% outboard. Moving onward to style. This latest Countryman, it's got a longer wheelbase, a wider track, that's how far the wheels are from each other. It's more than 5 inches longer, it's taller, it's bigger. New octagonal grille up front. You got this little trim nearby the C-pillar. It doesn't do anything functional, and you know that because when you come inside, it just blocks out the glass. Hey, I'd rather just have glass I can see through.
As a former Mini owner, whenever I looked at the Countryman, I would be like, oh, that's too big for a Mini. But looking at it with fresh eyes, I think it looks great. Being a Bronco owner now, it looks petite and cute. I love it.
Big or small really depends on what your starting point is, but I think also for this generation, there's a crispness, there's a modernness to it. It also feels a little bit brawnier. I think it's a pretty pleasing shape. One tip that I thought was really interesting, the outside door handles, basically the same thing we had in the BMW i5, so that BMW-ness is coming through loud and clear. Oh, and of course, being a Mini, it's highly customizable. For customizability, we've got a variety of wheel choices, trim in silver or black. There are like 9 body colors, and then roof, obviously, you gotta have some contrasting options. This is the body color version, but you can also get this in white, black, or silver. So there's really a lot of ways to make the MINI Countryman your own. If you're looking for sunglasses and eyewear that you can also make your own, consider the supreme customizability of Flying Eyes Eyewear. And if you're wondering where did that box come from, that is a good question. But inside here, some examples of the supreme customizability. Ooh, these are some of my favorites. These are the Kestrels with the mirrored rose lenses. I look like a swan who's trying to sell you glasses. Stork. I meant stork. Or crane.
Or flamingo.
They're the only eyewear I'll wear when flying our helicopter, but Flying Eye's unique traits make them unnaturally comfortable and durable in ground-based activities too. If you'd like to learn more, there's a link in the description below. If you use the promo code Micah, you can save 10%. Last thing, we have standard LED head and tail lights, and there are 3 customizable graphics you can choose from. We're feeling really positive about the new look of the MINI Countryman. What do you think? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Tell us in the comment section. Also, thank you for supporting our channel. Thanks for just watching this video. You didn't have to, and yet here you are. Moving onward to In Motion. Ride quality in the MINI Countryman is firm, but not chattery. It's kind of what you'd expect from the MINI brand. Comfortable enough for commuting. I did, however, notice a little bit of buzzing up here once I opened up the shade, and also a little bit of buzzing over in this. It kind of depends on frequency and speed, but just some things I noticed. When we reviewed the latest Mini Cooper, I noted how incredibly stable and locked in it was at high speed for cruising. Strangely, this one wanted to wander more than the smaller Mini Cooper we tested, and I don't know why. Steering position locked in, it just kind of moved around a little bit. That might have something to do with tire choice. We've got 20-inch wheels with Pirelli P0 tires, so there might be a little bit more of that tram lining behavior. If you want to go around corners with some haste, you can certainly do that. However, when pushing it, there's like some electronic intervention that is a little unnatural for my tastes. You can play, but it's not truly high performance.
So playful, not stupid?
I mean, an undeniable strength of the new Countryman is when I floor it, pull is strong. We've got 52 more horsepower than the previous Countryman S. That engine is paired with a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. It works well. I'm gonna flip it over here into go-kart mode. Made a little fun noise there. Floor it. Yep, got the downshift quickly. Good pull. For proper fun, put it in go-kart mode. There's really no version of manual control for the transmission, which I found egregious in the Mini Cooper, but even in the Countryman, even with its more kind of domestic intentions, why not have the paddle shifters here? What's interesting about Mini's philosophy about modes is that some of them change the nature of the vehicle, some of them just sort of change the vibe of the screen or add different lights here. One thing we have in the Countryman that we did not have in the Mini Cooper is trail mode. And now I'm gonna put this in trail mode, and you're like, well, wait a second, Micah, why are you putting it in trail mode on the road? Because it does nothing. It changes the vehicle in 0 ways other than it'll change this screen here. And then at nighttime, it'll do some illumination that is inspired by nature. You can tiptoe your way onto a trail if you want, and we actually have 8 inches of ground clearance, so odds are you're not gonna scrape on anything if you're cautious. But I wouldn't mind seeing a more off-road capable Mini Countryman in the future, and I would really love to see a trail mode that does something. Last mode thought, whenever you change modes, it does that little like woohoo or like a sound or something like that, and it pauses your music to make that sound. So you can imagine how quickly I turned that off. I mentioned the dual clutch transmission, and it works great in normal operation. The real question though with any kind of dual clutch is, what is it like when you're trying to creep along at 1 mile an hour? Good consistent creep behavior, doesn't seem too desperate to fully engage. Feels almost like a normal automatic transmission. Can it come to a limo smooth stop? Let's see. I'm really kind of, oh, that last little bit, it was like so close. And you know what? I bet that was because it was the auto hold function. So I'm gonna give it a passing grade there. That's what I think about driving the Mini Countryman. What does Sweetie think? Evie's at the wheel. One thing we have in here that is very BMW is backup assistant. Hit that button, Sweetie. So all you have to do is press the accelerator on the brakes. It'll back us out the exact path we came in. And you get all this good visual information here, letting you know that the car knows where we're going. Okay, you can stop this now whenever you're ready and pull us on out. How much do you like that in this 360 cam?
I really appreciate those features because I hate backing up.
And look, you can do these cool visualizations, that side.
Thank you, because that wall is a little close for my
Look,
taste.
I got a 3D view. Look at that. There's even a car wash mode.
Ooh.
Enough power to get out ahead of traffic.
Yes.
We got a windy section here. How's it feel steering?
The steering feels great to me.
Yeah, steering wheel is super thick. And you have those tiny hands.
It's fine because it just kind of makes me stay here at the 9 and 3.
What about visibility? Any challenges?
Visibility is good all around.
If we were in the market for a subcompact premium SUV, are there any game killers that would keep you from driving a MINI Countryman?
No game killers here.
All right, getting back in the driver's seat. Let's move on to remarks. Infotainment, we got a round 9.4-inch OLED screen. It was a little bit perplexing when we first got it in the Mini Cooper. Now experiencing it again in the Countryman, it's like, I made my peace with it. It's kind of weird having Apple CarPlay show up in a square visual in a round screen. And I was a little concerned about how you might anchor your hand for steady inputs while driving. But as it turns out, my thumb can reach all the different parts anchoring around the periphery. With a little adaptation, this actually makes some sense. And I'm really impressed with the vividness.
Using this is quite simple. Shortcuts at the bottom, this menu that has everything. Most of the HVAC controls are in the screen, which means it's harder to use while I'm driving because I need to use my eyes to see where everything is. But the way it's laid out is super intuitive.
Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless smartphone connectivity are standard. One thing I could not find here is Mini's personal assistant feature. I've seen all sorts of media about it. I looked through the owner's manual again. I don't know why we don't have it, but we don't have it. What we do have is a head-up display, this little plastic piece over here. And unlike in the Mini Cooper, which I think you sit low enough that it's kind of in your view a little too much, here the angle is a little bit more favorable. A little extra information in front of my eyes, that's good. Rounding out the updates for 2025, this thing is all new from the ground up. You got a new exterior, a new interior, the whole thing's bigger. They ditched the former base 3-cylinder engine, so now it starts with the Cooper S and the turbocharged 4-cylinder. They also ditched front-wheel drive, so you can only get this with all-wheel drive. And then of course you got this new round infotainment system. So that's all the updates for 2025. Moving back to this video's original premise, what does it even mean to be a Mini these days? When Mini started, it was defined by size. But as time marches on, everything needs to get progressively bigger because every generation it needs to be better, and bigger is better. So what is Mini? Well, I think now it's a notion of playfulness, and it takes two forms: dynamic playfulness and stylistic playfulness. There's a lot happening inside and outside that's like, hey, we're not afraid to take chances. Dynamic playfulness seems to be tamping down over time, but you still have the style element. To my mind, the Mini brand still has equity, but having a name that's anchored in size feels like a real challenge, which to me just means I am so glad I'm the guy who reviews the cars rather than the guy who has to make and market the cars. If you were in charge of Mini, what would you do with the brand? Tell us in the comments. Now let's take a look under the hood in a test inspired by my buddy Brian. Here's how you open the hood on your MINI Countryman. If you want to check the oil level, it's not under the hood, you have to go into the infotainment system. But if you need to add oil, here's where you can do it. And over on the left side, that's where you add the washer fluid. And if you're wondering what the Countryman's horn sounds like, all right, let's talk engine choices. The base engine is a 2-liter turbocharged engine that is more powerful and yet also more efficient than the previous Countryman S. Then there's also the Countryman John Cooper Works. That's an extra 8 grand, but it has a lot more power. At least where horsepower is concerned, torque is exactly the same. With either engine, all-wheel drive comes standard, as does a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. Premium fuel is recommended, and if you want to tow, it maxes out at 3,500 pounds. There is also a Countryman SE All-4, which is a full electric vehicle. It's got dual motor all-wheel drive. If you want to do a DC quick charge, it'll go from 10 to 80% in about 30 minutes.
Sweetie,
Yes, my love?
will you please share our trim recommendation?
I sure will. Our trim recommendation is which MINI Countryman trim will give you the essential features you'd regret not getting, but at the lowest possible price. The base Signature Plus trim includes heated front seats, dynamic cruise control, dual zone climate control, a power liftgate, and smart key access. That's the one we'd get. If you're ready to buy a MINI Countryman of your very own, click the Kelly Blue Book pricing link in the description below to learn what you can get for trade-in on your current car and what you should spend on a MINI Countryman. For competitors, assuming you're thinking of the Countryman as a premium subcompact SUV, it is a cheaper choice compared to its platform mate, the BMW X1, the Audi Q3, the Mercedes-Benz GLA class, or the Lexus NX. Did we miss any remarks? If so, tell us in the comment section. Now, it's our daughter's time to shine. Child, in your relaxed position, can you tell us what is your favorite feature in the MINI Countryman?
I like the little daisy up there.
Whenever I come off the accelerator, which is not often, you get this little daisy here next to the power meter. This is not a hippie car. This is a very British car. Like, what is that? I have no idea, but it makes my daughter happy, so I approve. Family, I think we've done a good job reviewing the MINI Countryman. May I have a 5 and a 5? You can get your high five. Bam! And now please enjoy our AI-generated synopsis song about the MINI Countryman.
It started small, just a little car. Now it's grown, stretching near and far. I search for space, but it's tightening my lane. And though I love you, it's a bittersweet pain.